Tanse, I'm Kristin Achkate. Welcome to APTN National News. Thank you for joining us. The Manitoba government announced late Wednesday the possibility of human remains found at the Prairie Green Landfill just north of Winnipeg. The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, along with members of the Myran and Harris family, are currently hosting a press conference that began at 11:15 a.m. this morning in Winnipeg. It is believed that the remains of Morgan Harris and Marcedes Myran, both from the Long Plain First Nation, ended up in the landfill sometime in May of 2022. They are two of the four women murdered by self-confessed serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky. Skibitsky was sentenced in August of last year and will serve a life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. Back in 2022, the families were told by the Winnipeg police they would not search the landfill for their loved ones, prompting a year-long political fight with the previous Manitoba government. Last summer, both the federal and Manitoba governments committed $20 million each for the search. In December, the physical search of the site began. This week, the families were told about the possibility of remains being found. The RCMP and the province's chief medical examiner are now investigating. Premier Wab Kinew has also said that the identification process could take up to 2 weeks. The family spoke at a press conference this morning.
I was thinking back to when we were all told no, right? When the Winnipeg police told us no. You know, when the government, Heather Stephenson, told us no. You know, that couldn't be done and that it wouldn't be done. You know what, to hell with all you guys, because it got done. You know, and it's just beginning.
I didn't see myself making it too far in life after I found out about my mom, because I just turned 18. I just became an adult without my mother. And yesterday, all I could think about was I want my mom. No one should go through any type of heartbreak without their mom. Yesterday, when I left the landfill, I felt like I was abandoning her again. I felt like I was leaving her. No family, no person should go through what we went through. And again, to every one of you that said no, to every one of you that didn't believe in us, do better.
If you are impacted by these stories, supports are available 24/7 through the MMIWG support line. That number is 1-844-413-6649. The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs held an urgent press conference Wednesday afternoon to inform the public about a recent serious alleged assault against an Indigenous elder in Winnipeg. The AMC said the incident is another example that Manitoba continues to grapple with an escalating drug crisis, and a warning to our viewers, this story may be triggering.
Coming home from Thompson last night and hearing, that my mother was brutally attacked and seeing her in the hospital. And trying to make her laugh just so that we could get past the trauma.
Joseph Foray held back tears as he explained a serious alleged assault against his 83-year-old mother, Victoria Comeau.
Realizing that I could have lost her because somebody wanted some money to buy some drugs. I mean, I'm making that assumption, but at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, broad daylight, to brutally beat an elderly woman like that, 83 years old, it's not right.
According to Foray, the alleged assault happened on Tuesday afternoon, just outside of his mom's care home in the 400 block of Elgin Avenue, as Comeau went to go get a liter of milk at a nearby store.
This man punched the 83-year-old elder in the back of the head. She turned around to see who was there, what was happening. He proceeded to punch her in the face.
The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs says the elder's injuries include internal bleeding and a shattered pelvis from the attack. Foray says if it wasn't for a man who jumped out of his vehicle to stop the alleged assault, he fears his mother wouldn't be with him today. Foray, along with the AMC, wants swift justice and is calling for the province of Manitoba to take immediate action.
We need to bring this awareness that our communities and our neighborhoods are not being safe under the present strategies that the government is implementing in regards to gaining control of the drug crisis that we have in our city.
Something like this better never happen again. Elders are sacred. They are the most important people in our Indigenous societies.
Foray says he would like to see some kind of increased patrol in the neighborhood to protect people in the community, and says Manitoba's current Housing First projects are not working, as he has seen ongoing drug and addiction issues near his mother's home. A similar assault against an elder also took place in downtown Winnipeg last Friday. Winnipeg police say a woman in her 70s was assaulted by an unknown man while walking in the skywalk. A 49-year-old man has since been arrested. The Winnipeg Police Service said they could not say if the man was arrested in Tuesday's incident or provide a statement before broadcast time. The Winnipeg Police Service called that incident on Tuesday a robbery that happened in the 300 block of Williams Avenue. They say the Major Crimes Unit is now investigating. No word yet on any arrests in that alleged assault against the elder. Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Gary Anandasangari is in Arctic Bay in northern Nunavut today to give an apology on behalf of the federal government for its role in the Dundas Harbour relocation against the Inuit. Between 1934 and 1948, the federal government removed more than 50 Inuit from their ancestral homes and relocated them to work at the Hudson's Bay Company outpost on Devon Island. The federal government tricked them into believing they would only have to relocate for 2 years. Instead, families were relocated numerous times without any support, no means of transportation, and expected to fend for themselves on a land they were not used to. At the same time, Inuit were used to assert Canadian sovereignty over the territory there. A previous study found that Canada ignored the unique Inuit regional identities and assumed that Inuit could live anywhere in the Arctic. Survivors spoke of starving during the relocations and people dying of homesickness. Those who lived grew up in communities disconnected from those around them. At least one survivor will be there to hear the apology today. However, most of them have already passed away. A leaked draft memo outlining a plan for Vancouver's downtown east side included an idea to help Indigenous people leave the city and return to their home communities. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, critics say it's insulting to suggest First Nations residents vacate the area as part of a plan to rejuvenate the neighborhood.
The downtown east side has the highest proportion of Indigenous residents in the city of Vancouver. For many, it is the only home they have ever known.
A lot of people don't have the opportunity, especially urban natives, don't have the opportunity to learn where they're from or to practice a culture.
The All Nations Outreach Society is known for helping people reconnect with family and culture. That might be why it's mentioned as a potential partner in a leaked memo from Trevor Ford, the mayor's chief of staff. The document, marked confidential, includes a section called Reunification Roundtable, which states many members of the Indigenous community have expressed a desire to live in their home nations. It's framed as a step towards reconciliation. Critics don't see it that way.
This notion of removing them from their home that they've enjoyed for a number of decades and sending them home smacks of deportation.
The mayor insists nobody will be forced out of the neighborhood.
If they express an interest and a desire to go back to their home community on a case-by-case basis, we will do whatever we can from the City of Vancouver's perspective to empathetically and compassionately help them out.
For Indigenous people seeking reconnection, it can take many forms, whether that is spiritual, emotional, physical relocation, or a combination of all three. It's a choice only an individual can make, and only when they are ready.
Hey guys, you guys want a lunch?
All Nations Outreach Society says nobody discussed the City Hall memo with them before it was circulated. They invite the politicians and staff to join them on the streets if they really care about the neighborhood.
They need to be a part of this community to help this community. They can't just make a decision and tell other people to do it. People will listen to people that they trust.
For many, the connections and trust built on these streets are the reason they call the downtown east side home. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation with us. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. And to read and watch our stories, you can go to aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. A gifted Indigenous artist who has a gallery exhibit coming up in Thunder Bay joins us next. That interview when we're back in about 3 minutes. Welcome back. It's Thursday today, and that means Fraser Needham joins us now from Ottawa to talk about what's coming up on Nation to Nation. Fraser?
Coming up tonight on Nation to Nation, I talked to Northern Affairs Minister Gary Anasandagri, who was in Arctic Bay, Nunavut, to apologize to relatives and families of Inuit people from Kingate who were forcibly relocated by the Canadian government between 1934 and 1948, causing years of hardship and trauma. APTN reporter Karen Pugliese is also here to talk about the Liberal leadership debates this week and where Indigenous issues fit in. As well, I speak to Quebec First Nation Chief Lance Haymond. Last week, his First Nation in Quebec won a major court decision after a federal judge ruled the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission failed in its duty to consult. That's coming up later this evening after the news.
Thank you, Fraser. Once a bustling port in Ontario, Depot Harbour was devastated by a massive munitions fire in 1945. Today, members of the Wassakasing First Nation say explosives remain scattered and the land contaminated with industrial toxins. Coming up this week on an all-new episode of APTN Investigates, journalist Kenneth Jackson digs into the history of Depot Harbour and delays surrounding Canada's long overdue cleanup. Here's a preview.
This is where it all took place. These big ships would come in here.
No one in government talks about it. No one in the official level talks about it. It might be a secret military file. I don't know.
Still classified after all these years.
I remember that night. I remember the screaming and yelling and crying, people running. The sky was red and I could see the cinders, and I was afraid they were going to land on the roof and our house would be on fire.
They didn't clean it up, and I don't think they want to clean it up.
If you walk the shoreline there, you will find cordite. 2 loaded boats full of foresight were left to sink at the dock. And they're still there today. We're talking about explosives, stable explosive TNT in the water. It would be just as explosive as it was years ago as it is today. I think of all the other messes that Canada has got us in. We are left with that residue. We won't let them off the hook on that obligation.
And you can catch APTN Investigates Dynamite Bay airing this Saturday night on APTN. Our next guest is an artist from the Seine First Nation in northwestern Ontario. Since he was 10 years old, Jean Boschkaken has been creating works of art, first starting by using simple tools like pencil and paper. As his talent grew, his art pieces did too. Over the years, he has created dozens of detailed portraits of Indigenous people, including elders, leaders, and even movie stars. And on March 21st, his art will be showcased in a gallery exhibit in Thunder Bay. We recently spoke to Jean Boschkaken from Thunder Bay. Here's that interview. Jean, thank you so much for speaking with us. Can you tell us how long you've been an artist and why you became an artist?
I've been drawing since I was 10, and I was living with the Johnson family, and one of the kids, one of the Johnson boys, his name was Sterling, and he was like an up-and-coming artist himself. And he was drawing eagles, and just people were buying his stuff left and right. And he was in the local newspaper, and he was my total inspiration for everything. You know, he was the start-off point. And once I got to high school, you know, my skills started getting better. That was the beginning.
That's good to hear. And looking at your paintings, you showcase a lot of influential Indigenous people. Can you tell us why showcasing elders and powwow dancers is so important to you?
Oh, it's all about the culture and my people. I love powwows. You go into a powwow and it's just, your heart starts, beating, and the room was filled with love, and, it's all about the culture and my people. And, of course, I love my mom. She's all about the culture, and my siblings, and that's about it.
Yeah, and Jean, can you also explain what goes through your mind when you're creating these paintings, and how long does a painting take?
It takes about 4 to 5 days to create one, and what's going through my mind is, the love of the project, and releasing it, and what it does to the community and my fans, and it inspires people, and then it reverts back to me. I can feel the love,
Yeah, I was looking closely at your paintings, and you really catch almost the spirit of that person in that painting. Can you talk about that?
Well, and, again, that comes back to the culture and your love for the people, and it reverberates from my hand to the person I'm drawing on the paper, and it just everything is just filled with love, from my hand to the paper.
Yeah. You also have an art gallery exhibit coming up. Can you tell us about that and where it will be?
Yes, it'll be March 21st in Thunder Bay. The opening night is from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Coal Lab Gallery. It's at the Goods and Coal building on 251 Red River Road. I hope everybody, anybody that can come, I hope you can come and check out my drawings in person. I'm also looking for national representation from a gallery.
Can you talk about just being part of an exhibit? As an artist, this is probably a dream come true for you, hey?
Oh yeah. I don't show too much, and and this is the way to get your art out there and just meet the people who love your stuff.
Finally, Jean, what is your words of advice to other young Indigenous artists out there who have gifts but don't know where to start?
Just practice every day. Keep on giving her. When I was in my younger years, I didn't draw every day. I didn't do the art shows, but now that I'm older, I'm just going full ahead and just drawing every day. And that's what people want to see. They want to, if you're talented, just put your gifts out there for the world to see.
Yeah, great words of advice there, Jean. Thank you for your time and all the best on your exhibit. And let's chat again soon after your exhibit.
Yes. Thank you very much. Miigwech.
We now want to tell you about this week's third web poll question. Over on our website, we ask, do you think the federal government is doing enough to ensure food subsidies benefit northern residents? Your answers are yes, no, or unsure. Go to aptnnews.ca to have your say. T.R. Wheatley is back with another new segment of Mother Tongue Teachings. Stay with us. In the east, Charlottetown -1, sun in Halifax 4. Nuujauak -25, the Grand River -12. Quebec City -1, Gaspé 0. Ottawa 3, Sarnia -1. Sioux Lookout 0, Thunder Bay, sun and 1. Churchill -24, God's Lake -7. -2 in Princess Harbour, Gimli -10. Partly cloudy in Saskatoon at 1, Regina -2. -17 in Stony Rapids, La Ronge -8. Rain in Fort McMurray at 5, Peace River 4. Red Deer 8, Medicine Hat 14. Kamloops 12, Campbell River 11. Rain in Prince Rupert at 8, Smithers 8. Whitehorse 5, Watson Lake 4. Wati -15, Wrigley -13. -28 in Tuktoyaktuk, Pulatuk -29. Whale Cove -26, Chesterfield -27. And the Iqaluit -29, Aglulik -24. All month long, APTN has brought you to the roots of Indigenous languages with a phrase of the day. Today, TR Wheatley talks with knowledge carrier and elder Patsy Paul Martin about a fundamental Mi'kmaq teaching.
Kwe, ni Delawisi Patsy Paul Martin, Akleawi Wego Begwitk. Hello, my name is Patsy Paul Martin, and I am from the Millbrook First Nations. I turned 70 years old, so I'm very proud to say that I'm an elder. I speak Mi'kmaq, and I read Mi'kmaq. I write Mi'kmaq. I'm the 12th child, the youngest child of my parents. We don't say enough of this word to each other. And I thought this would be great to have this word, which in Mi'kmaq means Gesalul. It's all one sound, Gesalul. In English, it means I love you. And the pronunciation is Ge-Sal-Ul. Mi'kmaq, it means Gesalul. English, it means I love you. The pronunciation of it is Ge-Sal-Ul. Well, in our Mi'kmaq society, it's something that we need to say a lot of to ourselves, to our children, to anybody that comes around us. It's a beautiful, positive word. I love it. And it's easy to say, easy to learn. English is my second language. And when I started going to school is when I learned it. And I went to Indian day school. And it was just, our language was always oral because our ancestors didn't want to write it for fear of that our language being maybe taken or misused. So it was always oral. So you had to be a very good listener to listen to the elders when they were speaking. I want to say, Walalin, thank you for promoting our Mi'kmaq language. Gesalul is one word, very powerful and very loving.
Walalin, thank you, Patsy, for that lesson, and TR for putting that together. To hear the other phrases of the day for February, check out our website at aptnnews.ca/mother tongue teachings. That's your daytime newscast for this Thursday. Dennis Ward is back in a few hours for your evening newscast, along with a new Truth in Politics panel. Make sure to join us then. From all of us at APTN National News, hai hai, miigwech, masicho kwana. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next day.